Hello and welcome to the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast. My name is Owain. I'm joined as always by Dan in person. How are you doing, Dan?
Yeah, nice to be recording in person. Apologies for not having a really dodgy video up on Spotify for just to see dogs falling off sofas and etc. But yeah, nice to be face to face for once recording.
So 5 weeks to go before London. Let's briefly thank our sponsor SOAR. As always, we're sponsored by SOAR. The weather has turned here in the last few days, and it's not quite vest season, but I've definitely worn my SOAR t-shirt on Thursday when it was absolutely I don't want to say it's absolutely scorching because I think people use that too much, but
scorching
scorching
yeah, scorching.
feels like 9. But no, we're sponsored by SOAR. They make really, really comfy running clothing. You should definitely check them out if you're running a marathon. Really good to wear the either the half tights or the split shorts and carry all of your nutrition. I had the half tights on the other day and chucked a bunch of stuff in the pockets, and yeah, perfect.
Yeah, well, I'm already committed now to wearing complete SOAR for London because I had to declare about a month ago. I had to declare what I was going to be wearing on the day. So yeah, split shorts, SOAR split shorts, marathon split shorts, and my SOAR Ponte vest. That'll be my outfit for London. And sorry, Welsh Clerics, but it's definitely going to be an upgrade on what I was wearing for Valencia, even if it's just psychological. But go check them out. So where are we up to here?
5 weeks to go, and I think in theory the start of the week would be the 17th.
Yes.
But you didn't run the first 2 days.
Yes, we talked about last time, didn't we? So if you hadn't listened to last week, I've been a bit unwell. Seemed to have 2 viruses back to back, different symptoms. So a week before I'd done 5 days of jogging, attempt a session, bailed on the session, and then actually had 4 days completely off. So week beginning the 17th. So Monday off, no running. Tuesday off, no running. But actually, we recorded a podcast Tuesday lunchtime-ish, didn't we?
Yeah.
And actually, I said to you, I think I could have gone for a run that afternoon. I actually felt all right. So in the morning of Wednesday, I ran 10k. Felt pretty good, 4:21 a k.
Massive comeback. You and Jake Smith, 2 biggest comebacks in the UK running scene in the last few weeks.
But yeah, we see Jake Smith's had had a successful comeback. Let's see if I can replicate that. But yeah, shout out to him and his great half marathon at Bath. That was really good. But yeah, like in contrast to last week where I tried running and my heart rate was like 120, 127, 130 beats per minute for 4:20 a k. First 10k back, average heart rate 417 for 4:21 a k. Great adjusted pace 416 if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, wanting to just nice easy 10k, check out if I was feeling alright. I did. So I actually went and did 10k again in the afternoon. And yeah, like cardiovascularly felt great, like completely fine. Didn't feel unwell. Legs biomechanically felt pretty rubbish after 4 days off. And I went to have a look back through my Strava. The last time I had 4 days off, well, I couldn't. It was well over a year ago, I think. And yeah, not used. I hadn't had a day off since October last year, so that was a bit annoying to have 4 in a row. But never mind, back to it. So yeah, that was Wednesday, 10k morning, 10k in the evening. Thursday, 16k in the morning, 4:19s. Again, actually, now legs are starting to come around a bit. My legs always feel rubbish after a few days off.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 days and it feels rubbish, doesn't it? You just doesn't feel right, and then it clicks.
One day I can get away with it.
Yeah.
Like 1 day off, my legs don't feel horrendous. Don't feel great, but don't horrendous. But like anything more than that, and I'm so used to running every single day. But you'd think you'd feel fresher, wouldn't you? But I just feel bad. So actually, legs felt much better at 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. 16k, 4:19 a k. 10k in the evening. Pushed the pace a little bit for me. 4:10 a k. around Cardiff, and I think it was the sun effect. I think the sun had come out. Strava was telling me it was 16 degrees. I think that was like the first warmer run.
Yeah.
So it'd been still really cold at 6 a.m. in the morning, and the sun was out. Felt good. It was quite a hilly loop. Well, hilly. It involved going up and down from Rothlake up to Kincoid, which is a bit of a hill. 65 metres elevation in 10k. So for me that was quite hilly. So it was a grade adjusted pace, 4:08 a k. So yeah, feeling all right. So that was Thursday to Friday. I thought, right, I've had 2 days of easy running now, feeling fine from a health point of view. So let's attempt a session.
We've missed something, I think. Friday morning?
Yeah, that's what I'm up to now. I think Friday morning, am I? Oh, no, I forgot. Yeah. So Friday morning. So Friday was actually a really weird day in general. So so normally I get up early and run before work on a Friday. I go in early, get into Cardiff Met about 7 a.m, do my session, then start work at 9. But Jemima's still not been feeling very well. So we've all been ill. Me and Nye have recovered. Jemima's now on antibiotics, but she's still feeling a bit rubbish, but luckily making amends. But Nye goes to nursery on a Friday, so I will hold off. I've got a morning of not much on, and I was testing in the evenings. So I'll take Nye to work and I'll do my session at 9 o'clock. So I was fortunate in some ways, not fortunate in another, because at 7 a.m, like, the doorbell rings. I'm like, who the hell is ringing the doorbell at 7 a.m? Like, it's too early for deliveries, postman, whatever. So I just ignored it. They kept persisting, rang it again. Jemima said, I'll go and see who it is. And all I hear is a man downstairs going, oh, is Dan in? I'm like, God, what have I done here? What mess have I got myself into? But
you've insulted someone on the podcast and they found you.
Well, I'm thinking, like, is something happened? Like, is my car being involved in an incident? Like, is my wallet being found somewhere? Like, is this for police? I don't know. Anyway, it turns out it was UK anti-doping. So I had to go and give a sample at 7 a.m. on Friday morning, which urine sample, which is fine. I've done it before. I've been drug tested 3 or 4 times before, but it's always been like after a race, which is horrendous, like I've done it after the first time I had it done was after the World 50k champs in 2019. So I've just run a 50k and it's been like, it was like 25 degrees at the end, and you've now got to donate 60 ml of urine. I was there for hours. This time at least it was first thing in the morning, didn't take too long, but it was
So when the test is at your door, like, is it sort of like, oh wow, this is new, because like if it happens a lot, you probably get into a bit of a routine and you maybe know the testers, but yeah, like first time you've got someone from UK anti-doping on your doorstep, like,
that was weird because I was still groggy, still waking up. I've chucked some cloves on. I know the process, so that's fine. At least I was familiar with that, because it would be, if I'd never done it before, it would be a bit of a weird experience. You
remember the European Athletics e-learning that we've had to do?
Oh yeah, well that's the thing, right? It's, if you haven't, it's not a normal experience to go and pee in front of a stranger, because they watch you pee. Like, you can't just go around the corner. You've got to go over, and I don't know how a woman does it.
There's a lot of steps, and like there is, like, I've just done the e-learning in the last few weeks, and there is some specific steps, like you're meant to get like their ID off them, you're meant to show your ID, aren't you? And then,
so I had to prove my ID despite it being my house that they've turned up at. He didn't. I'm not sure he showed me. Like, he had a badge. He was from UK anti-doping. Like, he must have been. Otherwise, someone's just stolen my urine. But yeah. So they talk you. They explain it all, but it's a bit of formality when you've done it before. You effectively go and pee in a pot. They watch you pee, so it's
you have to like roll your top up and have your shorts down, right?
No,
a certain way, or at least that's what the e-learning said.
It wasn't that strict. It was not that strict, and I've never had to be that strict before. They're gonna see your penis, like they're gonna see that, and you pee in a pot. You then go take that pot and pour it into 2 glass jars, which are your A and your sample and your B sample. And they're like tamper-proof, so they design.
Well,
once you, in theory, unless you're Russian, they're
if you've watched Icarus, then
so
you know.
They've got upgraded ones
Oh,
now,
okay.
you see. They've got graded ones, they're slightly different. And actually, one of the massive upgrades they have is when the initial vessel that you pee into, it used to be a pain in the arse to pour it into the glass tubes. The first time I did it, I made a right mess of everything. Whereas now they've got a proper like little spout on, much better experience. So,
and like we're like laughing about like pouring urine, but it is genuinely like it has to not be contaminated, right? Like this, it's a serious.
Yeah, so like they that's the thing. It all arrives in sealed plastic containers, and they always talk you through it. Say, right, make sure that it's sealed. Make sure that the ID code is matching the what's on the form, because they don't want to get this wrong, and they don't want to have any excuse that actually they've not followed formality.
Yeah, it's like they want it to be right, and you want it to not.
Yeah.
Be wrong.
Yeah. So he said, even as much as he said, "Oh, do you want to wash your hands before?" I thought that's probably a good idea in case I've got, I don't know, creams on my hand. I don't know. I thought that's probably a sensible idea. But he's like, "Don't use soap." Right. Okay. He's like, "Well, you don't know because that could have a masking agent in." I don't know. I just sort of went along with what he said, but he's putting everything on like a sterilised like sheet, so like there's nothing coming off the table is going to end up on the bottle, or it could end up inside the bottle. And so you take your sample, pour it into a pot, pour that pot into 2 glass jars which have got like this metal contraption, so that once it's sealed up, in theory you shouldn't be able to open it again. And that's your A sample and your B sample. So that's what gets sent off to a lab, goes and gets tested. You've also got to then fill in some paperwork, which is basic stuff like who coaches you, which is interesting because it never seems to come back to a coach, but if someone does get caught, but they keep a record of that. But one of the most important things is declaring any supplements you're taking or medication you're taking, because then if you're going to plea for contaminated supplements, it needs to be on that list basically. So for me that was very easy, because I put ibuprofen and paracetamol down because it's stuff you've taken for the last 7 days. I've been unwell, that's all I've taken, so that was easy. And then the other upgrade we've had is all used to be on just paper, with the carbon copy stuff. So you'd get given a carbon copy and you wouldn't be able to see what was written on it, which are always useless, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to keep that for 6 months or something like that. And they don't ever tell you it's clean. You're only going to find out if there's anything in it.
Yeah.
So you just keep this paper indefinitely in case it gets, gets found out. So I've got it just like pinned. I've got a couple of them just pinned on the notice board. The last one I had was Belfast Marathon last year, like April last year. But now it's all on an iPad. You get an email receipt straight away, all that info. So they're making investment in UK anti-doping.
Yeah.
But so that was an interesting start to the morning. I did say, why am I getting tested? And I'm glad I'm getting tested. I think it's good that they're testing people, but I'm not in the testing pool. So if I wasn't here this morning, which I normally wouldn't have
this was going to be my question.
Would it come back to me? Because if you're in the testing pool, you've got to declare your whereabouts, and say, right, I'm going to be at my house between 6 a.m. 7 a.m. every day, and if you're not going to be there, you need to change your whereabouts.
So again, like just from having done this in the last few weeks, like so there is a whereabouts test where you have that hour window, but then there's also, you have to say where you are every single day. So you have that hour window, but then you'd also need to say, okay, I'm still at home or I'm on a training camp, and they can still turn up. And if you're not there in like the rough region within reason, then you also get done for missing a test. So if you said, I'm going to be at home, and then it turns out you're on a training camp in Spain.
That test.
But that was my question. I was thinking about this when you messaged, like, what would have happened if...
Yeah, so I asked him that, because I was interested, and he said, no, you're absolutely fine, because you've not had to provide your whereabouts. If you weren't in, you weren't in, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But if I was obviously in, and then refused a test, that counts against you. That's a cross.
You need the the Mo Farah and Serena Williams panic room, and just hide in your panic room.
Yeah, like if Ed Lights was on and no one answered the door, even like they could say, he refused a test, because they know someone's in there and no one answered the door. So if like we just decided we would ignore it indefinitely, that would count. If obviously, I don't know, but what I wanted was, what if I wasn't there but Jemima was, She
Yeah.
opens the door, and how far do they go? They're not going to shirts for property, are they?
Yeah,
I
I doubt they can come in. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a sort of grey area, I reckon. But anyway, yeah. But because I wasn't in my whereabouts pool, I don't have to declare where I am on a day-to-day basis. It didn't. It wouldn't have mattered if I'd missed that test, as long as I wasn't actually in the building or like around.
Yeah.
So if I had been doing my normal training session and had left for work already, it wouldn't have come back against me. But it is a bit unusual that someone not in that pool gets tested, and it must be because I'm in the elite start for London. Because I think on the paperwork it was conducted by UK anti-doping, but it's a WADA drugs test,
Yeah.
and WADA do the drugs testing for the marathon majors, whereas UK anti-doping can pursue whoever they want to pursue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he also said, I reckon we've got some budget to use up at the end of the year. So like, maybe they're just going a bit lower level.
I think I said to you that's reassuring after, you know, if it's a financial year and it's like end of March, that's reassuring when it, you know, covers the Olympics and they've got a bit of budget at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, but I think I
It's
wasn't
good,
I
yeah.
didn't love the fact that I was getting tested, but I'm glad that they are testing a bit lower. Maybe I should take it as a compliment that they think I could be on drugs, because
Go test at Parkrun next, I think.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, there's been the cases of like, you know, age group triathletes getting done, and being done, but they've been caught by just importing things in customs, haven't they? Like, they've had, like, I'm sure there was an example of like an Irish triathlete. I might be completely get this wrong, but of people who have just had like testosterone just seized at customs because they were importing it without a license, and actually turns out it's a triathlete, and they go, well, you know, just doing that in itself is enough to get banned, so you're banned. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that you're testing lower level, because why wouldn't, you know? Why?
I remember hearing a few years ago, Scott Foible, who I think before Tokyo was like, you know, apart from Galen Rupp, was the best male marathoner in the US, and he said he didn't get tested until he had run like, I think he ran like sub 2:10. So you sort of have this clear window, you know, where you're probably all right.
Yeah.
And then you know, after that point, and you're still getting benefits of doping, you know, years down the line. So you go for it until you come on the scene.
Yeah. Because like I said, I've only ever been tested at competition. So I have been tested before competition at London Marathon before, but they just randomly select people from the elite start like the day before and go, right, you're being drugs tested. But if you get caught at a marathon made, you know, at the competition, then you're an absolute moron, because the chance you're getting tested then is at least 50-50.
It's just a stupidity test.
If you're going to podium, you're going to get drugs tested.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get drugs tested if you podium. If you break a national record, you're going to get drugs tested. Any of this stuff, because they need it for ratification. So if you get caught there, you're a moron, because it's just a stupid time to do it, isn't it? Like, you would do it in the preparations. So I bet now that Jacob Kiplimo is getting tested like anything between breaking the half marathon world record and doing London in April.
I mean, you would have hoped so, given who his coach is anyway, but... Or not coach, sorry, agent.
Is he Rosa?
Yeah, he's a Rosa. Because he is in the orangey red Nike singlet, isn't he?
So
right. That's the Rosa group.
That's even more dodge, isn't it? But, so that was my Friday morning.
Before the session.
Which was an interesting experience. And yeah, I'm going to take it as a compliment, but I think I could be taking drugs. Just good training. By the way, I'm not taking drugs. I hope that sample comes back clean now. I have no reason to suspect it not to. So then, decided to do the session on the treadmill. Again, because I tried a 6-minute rep a week ago on the Friday. Did one at 18k an hour, felt pretty rubbish, stepped off. So this time, thought I'm going back on the treadmill. I nearly did go on the track actually, but there's rugby going on, and I warmed up on the track, ready to go. Got my Strava, and it's a mess that day because I do like 3 minutes. I think I do like 5 minutes outside. Then end up doing a bit more of a warm up on the treadmill, and doing the session on the treadmill. And then did I cool down outside? I might have done. Yeah, I did. So anyway, did 5 by 6 minutes, and took lactate, was keeping an eye on my heart rate, and actually lactate was pretty good, slightly higher than I'd expect, but not by much. And I've not missed loads. It's been 2 weeks since I've done a session, but there was some jogging. Only 4 days completely off, so I wouldn't expect things to go completely pear-shaped and awful. But I would also expect a little bit of change. And I'd say lactates are probably slightly higher. So started conservative, 18k an hour for the first one. That felt fine. Lactate was 1.5, so I put it up by half a k. For the next one, so 18.5k an hour, 1.79 lactate, went up to 19. That was 2.5, and then I just decided to hold it at 19k an hour. So 2.4, 2.3 for the next two. Heart rate was climbing quite a bit. As in I think I peaked at not quite 170, but I was getting up there at the end. But it was coincided with it getting warmer, and the lab felt warm that day. So my heart rate was drifting quite a lot, but my lactates were nice and stable, so that was slightly unusual, but I think it was more a temperature thing. But the main reason I didn't increase with pace was because my legs felt shit. You talk about not running for a few days, and they don't feel good. And they felt normal jogging, but going back to running fast, they felt really bad. And that was the main factor where I was like, well, I'm just going to do 30 minutes of work today. Or that was what I was thinking at the time. I'm just going to do 30 minutes. In my head, I think I said last time that best case scenario, I can just ease myself back in at the back end of this week, and then next week have a normal, be back to full normal training. So I thought, 5 by 6 minutes, first session in 2 weeks, that's fine, let's do that. And went better than I expected, to be honest. Cooled down outside 2.5k. So that was Friday morning. Went in the gym at lunchtime, and this was good. Again, I think I said my squats were in a good place last week, and I lifted a bit more. I did 2 sets of 80 kilos on my back squat. But one of the issues was I was getting cheered on by Neve, who is a PhD student at Cardiff Met, whose background is in S&C, and she's done all the S&C support for triathlon before, and she works in athletics, and now is doing some pretty cool research.
I couldn't think of someone I'd like more to be cheering me on than Neve.
But she's a really enthusiastic strength coach, and she just saw I was in there at the gym at the same time, and we talked about her helping me out a bit before. It's never quite happened and lined up, but she happened to be in the gym, I was in the gym, and she was cheering me on, looking at my form. I said, actually, your squat technique's all right. She was happy with it, and my depth was good. But then I ended up doing a little bit more than I probably would have done. And then I started doing some drop jumps, and she was cueing me on that, which was really helpful. Because I think although my lifting technique was all right, my plyometrics were shit. I was doing drop jumps. She said, "Dan, don't bother. You're getting more. Show me some pogos." So I was just doing some pogo. He said, "Yeah, you're getting more height on the pogos from the drop jumps. So that's not the way around. You should be doing it." So that was helpful to know, and she gave me some cues there. But I ended up doing a bit more in the gym than I intended, and didn't think I was going to be able to run again. So I was doing testing all evening with Welsh Athletics, but I managed to start one of the tests slightly early, and got through it a bit quicker than I'd hoped. So I had a 45-minute window to run and shower, and I thought, you know what, my body feels all right. Maybe I'll do some more intervals. So I called it my run on Strava opportunistic double T. So I went for the double threshold. I had time to do 6 times 3 minutes. I did the first 3 at 19, and the second 3 at 19.3. Lactate was 2.0 to finish, which was nice. I didn't take any mid-run because I was having to be really tight on the time. So I was just taking a minute between, whereas to take a lactate on the Biosin normally takes about 90 seconds.
I was going to say short recovery on the 3-minute reps, right?
Yeah, so I was like, right, I'll keep it to a minute. I'd like to run a bit more, although I regret doing this session because I've never normally, if I have done double threshold before, but I've never normally lift in between. Yeah. And my legs felt bad in the morning, but felt even worse for this. And I was hoping they'd feel better because I'd done some running, but actually I hadn't really factored in the gym session I'd done at lunchtime, and I literally was just, I didn't think I was going to be able to run. Found this window to run and thought, all right, let's make a decision. What am I going to do? Oh, I don't really fancy just jogging. I'll do some double threshold. And yeah, legs felt awful, despite heart rate and lactate being all right. But I thought in my head, I was like, well, I only did 30 minutes of work this morning. I could get just a little bit more work in. And I felt awful. I actually regretted doing it because the next day I picked up a little bit of knee pain, which was definitely from first session in 2 weeks, then doing a gym session at lunchtime, and then trying to do something else in the evening, having done really heavy squats and plyometrics. I should have just jogged for 30 minutes, because I also did like a 5-minute warm-up and like a 2-minute cool down because I was just maximising time. I had to then shower and then get ready for the next athlete coming in. But yeah, that was Friday. Ended up being a 22k day, which I was hoping for a bit more volume, but I just didn't. I was rushed for both sessions. But yeah, nice to be back doing some intervals. Saturday I did 16k. My body felt bad after the day before. Knees were a bit achy, hamstrings a bit sore, and it was just first session back, heavy lifting, trying to do double threshold. As I said, I regretted that second session because in the morning session I was thinking, right, I'm being really sensible, not doing too much, first session back, and then I just in a split second decision of deciding to do some more intervals, completely undid any of that good work of just being sensible and controlled. So yeah, I was an idiot, and regretted the decision to do that second session. But yeah, anyway, did 16k, bit slower, 4:26 a k. Would have liked to have doubled, but we just had a lot going on in the evening and my body felt bad, so I decided that I wouldn't do anything else, partly from a time perspective as well, because that evening we went over to Gower. It was my birthday on a Sunday, so me and Jemima went away. We left Nye with the grandparents and went away, stayed away for a night, which was really nice, just in Gower. But brings me on to Sunday, so I had a lovely run around Gower at 8 a.m. Did 80 minutes, hilly, 324 metres of elevation, but I was pretty hungover. So this is like, this is performance sport. Training to run as best I can at London, but yeah, that was the first. I hadn't drunk any alcohol in quite a while, and I had a few, not loads. I wasn't awfully hungover, but I didn't feel great, and I was also cutting it fine to get back for breakfast and then pick up Nye and all this sort of stuff. So only did 80 minutes that day for the long run. Could have doubled in the evening, but again decided like I'd prefer just to start Monday fresh. We had my mum staying Sunday evening, so just both Saturday and Sunday were just big family days, and didn't feel like I could justify going away from that to run, and also body was struggling both days for different reasons. But yeah,
so
all in all,
for 5 days you did 100k still.
Yeah, so actually it was all
decent.
Right. It was decent volume, and in my head I didn't want to rush back. I prefer to just take my time to get back, and this week start back properly. Hopefully have a pretty similar structure to normal, and just have 3 really good weeks, then taper. And I feel like really in the grand scheme of things I haven't missed that much training. I can get back up to speed in 3 weeks and then taper in, and probably be in a better place than I was before Barcelona. Really,
there'll be a point in the next week or two where it'll just click, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm good now.
Yeah, I think my third session back is always the one where I go, yeah, I'm back now, and actually my body feels good. I feel fresh because I was really fatigued. Right, that first episode, Road to the London episode we recorded, I was in a bit of a hole, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I'd done a 200k week, and then 5 days of a 200k week, and then just jogged for 2 days, and that was at the start of the illness. So I'd done a really big 12-day block of training. And annoyingly, I was hoping that it would be 2 or 3 days of jogging and back into it, and it's turned into 2 weeks of easy running and no running before being back into it, but could be worse. You don't lose everything in that period of time.
There was a good question on your opportunistic double threshold from Ben. just ask it, like if we take away the fact this was, first session back and an illness, he was just asking like what sort of the thoughts are about doubles versus singles. He's used, so this isn't on you, Ben. This is like running. I don't know what you call it. Running zeitgeist, is that the right word? Where I keep seeing Norwegian singles, and I went on Reddit, which is stupid of me. Like I should have stopped at that point on the advanced running subreddit, and there's like 2 posts within the past week. Like, here we are. Does Kipchoge's training compared to the philosophy behind Norwegian singles? And as far as I can understand, Norwegian singles is just doing threshold in one session.
I've never heard
but we've
of
chucked the name Norwegian singles onto it to make it sound. I don't think it sounds smart. It's just like,
I've never heard anyone say Norwegian singles until Ben posted on my Strava. But I get what I know what he means by that. But I think what I have seen, certainly from like some of the cross country skiing literature, is that they weren't doing, I don't know now, but they weren't doing double threshold. They were doing really big sessions.
Yeah.
What I've been doing are more like 90 minutes of work, probably quite low, close to LT1 and LT2, but stuff like 6 times 15 minutes and things like that, which you could argue is like marathon training, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doing 6 by 5k, that's probably quite big, but people have done stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few groups do like 4 by 5k, which is like,
I've done 4 by 4 miles, which is 4 by 6k.
Yeah.
So. I think the question was basically, it was basically coming down to, is it better to do one big threshold session or 2 smaller double sessions? And I've I have played around a bit with double threshold, but I've gone down the singles route. And I think I said in my reply, part of it is just practical. Like I can fit in, like I've got a 2-hour window in the mornings on a Tuesday and a Friday where, well, if I get up a little bit earlier, I can do even more than that, but a 2-hour window where I can fit in one big session, whereas finding like 2, actually it needs to be like 80-minute windows really to warm up and cool down and do the session. That's a bit more tricky, and alongside work and kids and family life. So that's one reason why I don't do double threshold. But I also feel like for me, just like who's been running a long time, I was 31 if you want to know, for my birthday. So thanks to everyone who sent me a birthday message. But at 31, who's been doing, I would say, serious training since I was 16. I don't know if just doing 10k of volume in a session would be enough to really give me a stimulus. And obviously the whole idea of double threshold is that it adds up to a big volume. But with the fact that I've been running a long time, but I have done big sessions historically, that I'm training for a marathon, not a 1500 metre race, I feel that doing one longer session is more beneficial.
I think with marathon training especially, like, we'll say, well, I'll say it now, like we don't know what trains durability, but I think doing one bigger session is more likely to benefit durability, which is a more important component of marathon running than if you go to like the maybe not extreme end, but like the example of double threshold training is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and he's running for 3.5 minutes. So it doesn't really need durability. So for him, actually, it's more high intensity training, whereas for you want to try and get in that durability stimulus, whatever it is. Probably just doing big sessions.
I do think double threshold can be really, I've seen examples of it working really well, but I do think it is for those people who are more middle distance athletes, because the other thing is if you're a middle distance athlete, you're going to have more fast twitch muscle fibers, you're going to have more basic speed, and they are less fatigue resistant than someone who's got a slow twitch fibers. Slow twitch fibers are really fatigue resistant, they can just keep putting out the work. So doing double threshold, I reckon, is a way that someone who's actually got a profile which is not that fatigue resistant can do more work. And I am not that profile in any shape or form. Like, I've got about one fast twitch fiber in each leg, and I think, I don't know if it's a factor of training or my just physiology, my genetic makeup, but I've always been good at converting from half to a marathon or 5k to a 10k. And I do think that's because I'm more slow twitch dominant and fatigue resistant, and that's going to let me tolerate bigger sessions more. And I think you would on overall you'd expect to get a bigger benefit from doing one big session than two broken up sessions.
I think also, like you said, with it fitting into your life, like if you try to shoehorn in double threshold, you'd probably feel rushed and like the session quality is being compromised. Whereas you can do,
well, that's what happened.
You can
that
take
day on Friday,
confidence.
I had like 40. I was like, right, I'm going to double threshold. But I've got 45 minutes to shower, so I've got about as well. So I've got about 35 minutes of run time here.
Yeah.
I need to warm up, do a session, cool down.
Yeah.
Like that's what it would turn into, or it would turn into me finishing a session at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Then having to eat dinner, shower, get myself ready for the next day, going to bed at 11:30, and then having to be up at 6 a.m. to train before work. Like it's not gonna fit in.
Yeah.
And that's gonna hamper recovery. So even if it was more optimal, in principle, for me it wouldn't be more optimal, I don't think.
Yeah.
And for most people, I don't think it necessarily is optimal because it always ends up just eating to sleep time and that stuff. And
yeah.
Yeah. I actually think threshold training can, like I said, I've seen good examples of it working, but I think it's for a niche population of middle distance athletes, and by which I mean like maybe 1500 to 10k athletes, maybe not, who are also at a level where they need double threshold.
Yeah.
If you're nowhere near your genetic potential, you don't need to be doing double threshold. Just do one. Start with one, because the chances are you're running it too hard anyway.
I was going to say, do one and get it right, and then
do one, get it right, and then actually once you're not starting to not see benefits from that, then maybe add in another run, but it's an easy run.
Yeah.
And then if you still think like you need to add a bit more, then go to a double. But then I've seen people going, oh yeah, I'm going to double threshold, but I'm building into it, so I'm going to do 15 minutes of work in the morning and 15 minutes of work in the evening, and I'm like, well, but like 15 minutes of threshold is like, that's just too easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's an intensity that you could sustain for like somewhere between like a marathon and a half marathon or an hour, then doing 15 minutes of work at that intensity, you're just going to end up overcooking it, to pushing the intensity too hard to make it feel like you're doing something, I think.
Yeah, like you said, plenty of people run their, solo threshold session too hard, don't they? So, and there's plenty of people that claim to do double threshold and are definitely running it too hard.
Yeah.
So it's a specific population, and either you need to be a very like controlled person with your training already, or you need someone else there with you to step in and like take literally you, for example. On Friday, like if there'd been, maybe this is the one situation where actually having a coach would be better. If you'd messaged your coach and been like, oh, I've got this window, what should I do? And they had turned around and like actually maybe stopped you and said to just run easy.
Yeah.
Like that would have.
Even if I just took a breath and said, right, I'm going to take 2 minutes to rationally think through this decision, I'd have gone, you know what, you just lifted heavy here. It's your first session back. You being stupid, trying to shoehorn in something else. It's not going to make any difference to your long-term outcome. Just jog.
Yeah.
But I just rushed the decision. Like, if it had been an athlete I'd coached, I would have said just run single. I might even said just run once that day because it's your first session back. And going in the morning, I said I'd gone through that thought process and thought, right, I'm only going to do 30 minutes because I just want to finish it. I know it's going to feel bad. I just don't want to be putting loads of fatigue in the system when I'm probably moving a bit badly and I'm not used to these. I haven't done any fast movement patterns for quite a long time, like for 2 weeks. Let's just get through it. And then I just cocked it up and I'm really pissed off at myself. Because like Monday, one knee is still a little bit sore. I think it'll be fine, but it's just annoying. But this was just a stupid decision. Why did I do it? Anyway, we move on. 5 weeks to go. 102k of running in 5 days, which is not the end of the world. 7.5 hours in 5 days. That's not too bad. Quite a lot of climbing because I was in Gower, so 719 meters, which actually for me is quite a bit, especially over 100k. And plan is 3 weeks of normal training, By normal, I mean aggressive, normal training. So
Yeah.
200k. Let's try hit the 200k for 3 weeks and just make an effort to really look after myself and get as much sleep and good nutrition as I can. And
Stay off the beers.
yeah, there's no more beers now. Yeah, it was just
Sunday afternoon in London, maybe.
oh yeah.
Can you afford a beer in London?
Oh, I'll tell you what, in Gower it was quite expensive. 2 beers, but a cider because I'm a West Country boy at heart, and a beer, £11 in the Gower Hotel. Not sorry, Gower Hotel. Sorry, the King Arthur, which was very nice. But yeah, beers were expensive.
But yeah,
I better had a limoncello and a gin and all that stuff, but we don't need to go into that. But yeah, should we wrap it up there?
yeah,
Yeah.
good. I think good end to the week compared to where you were at the start.
Yeah, definitely progress. Feel like ready to get back into things, and yeah, just nice to be healthy and well and ready to do some training.
Nice, cool. We'll catch everyone next time.